Wanted to show you the context of the application. So these are text strings here. We have a simple story where there's a student, Susan, who's applying for an internship, and she's brushing up on her Euclidean distance for the machine learning pipeline. We have our characters, Christy and Matt. Christy's deciding whether to put PyTorch on her resume. Matt has scored an interview with Amazon, and he's been pushing his lead code after this, but he did score the interview. So let's say that we have a bunch of sentences in there, and we want to search for something. For example, we know that Matt studied Python, or we think we did, but it's actually not a keyword here. And we'll search on it. So it's running it locally. No GPU, it's just my CPU only. And the Euclidean distance, the closest match here to this sentence and the sentence below that is this one, where he says he studied PyTorch, FastAPI, and NumPy. These are all Python. And I guess the model is smart enough to realize that there's a correlation between this and Python. Imagine that you had another sentence here that you're trying to you remember that an intern was applying to Tokyo, you think, could be Yokohama, and you can't remember her name. So you say, okay, you make a mistake. Christy wants to work in Japan because you don't remember Tokyo. And the similarity search, it comes up with Susan is preparing to work in Tokyo at Sony on their machine learning pipeline, possibly for the Fila car. Right. To make some progress on this, what we're going to do is we're first going to store the index of sentences, so the dialogue that's used in the story or the visual novel, into a file. So we're using FAISS. We'll create a file for index, and then we'll set up a check. So if the file exists, then we're going to go through a set of steps. If the file doesn't exist, we will create the file. Just to explain what's happening, we've covered some of this process already in the previous videos, but we're not matching up the entire index of dialogue, especially if you have, let's say, thousands of pieces of dialogue here. We're going to need a different strategy. So at some point in the future, we're going to cover, okay, so we've covered this query text already, and the query text is being embedded or encoded to a vector. Then we have our search here, which compares the encoded message, the query, with the data that's stored in FAISS, which is all numbers, right? And because it's all numbers and humans read text, we need some way to match up the position of the set of numbers against the SQL-like database. And this is the basic strategy here, where we're going to have a position in the vector database, the identifier, and then we'll have an ID for that piece of text. So we'll go through it step by step. Join our 100% free course to get more lessons, slides, code examples. See you at industry-python.thinkific.com.